As of now, I'd say this is the best book yet. With books 1 and 2, I became accustomed to having that one bad episode. For book 1, it was the crystal car. For book 2, it was the family tree car. Here, though, I did not run into a bad episode, just episodes that weren't as great as the others. This show has dealt with subjects not usually touched upon in other shows. Book 1, I feel, is about being able to move on, as well as knowing that the world doesn't always have to have logic or reason to it. Book 2 was about being yourself, despite what everybody else thinks of you. Book 3, there's a lot to unpack there, so let's get started. Probably the biggest is the idea of working against the train. The number represents how much a person has grown. Low numbers means they have grown a lot, and high numbers means they have more work to do. As the Apex was founded on the idea that higher numbers are power, the leader was the one who was acting the most childish. As Grace was growing as a person, her number went down, and as Simon refused to grow up, his number became astronomical. There are a lot of minor morals you can take out of this as well, admitting that you are wrong, learning different methods from different people, understanding those that are different, and teaching your method without forcing them upon others. The way Apex treats nulls could be a euphemism for racism. Because they are different means that they are evil. Since they are not human, they can't feel pain. And since they have a different method, they must be killed in order for the correct ways of the Apex not to infect the others. That last point I feel is a pretty timeless moral. Throughout the years, people have been afraid of new ideas and would even kill in order for those ideas to not take root. However, it's gone the other way as well. Killing has been used to ensure the true method is the only one that remains. The last episode in particular hammers in a few more morals. One that I feel a lot can relate to is the idea of not being true to yourself. We live in an era where having beliefs are dangerous. For any stance you take, there is another group that will destroy you for having it. So what happens? Exactly what Grace did. She kept her beliefs to herself, as she knew Apex would turn away from her. Some may look at this and go, self-respect is more important than friendship. With her case, though, she was alone most of her life. Nobody ever paid her any attention, so she stole just to get some. There, she found the train, and finally had people that cared about her. She liked this. You can see how little confidence she had before the train, and how much she had on the train. But more importantly, she didn't want to be alone. I could probably go on for a lot longer on the morals and symbolism of this book, but I have a feeling somebody has posted a 3-hour video on the subject already, so I'll end it here. As for the show as a whole, I stated in the book 1 overview that the animation isn't fantastic, but the story more than makes up for it. I still very much agree with that statement. The animation is the same quality, but the story has only gotten better. I've noticed the darker tone of book 3 throughout the vlog entries, but I'll note it one more time here. As is the case with most dark media, the darkness is used to hammer in its morals more effectively. That is definitely the case here. Best example I can think of is Simon's death. As he didn't learn anything, he perished. With this book, I feel the emphasis was more put on the story rather than the cars. A practice used in other books, such as the Ball Pit car and the Toad's car. Book 3 is more story-driven, so the cars are much simpler to compensate for this. If the story and the cars were both complex, it would be kind of difficult to understand what's going on. For me, the third entry is usually the best. Back to the Future 3, Return of the Jedi, Aladdin 3, Moonraker, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Super Mario Bros. 3. I'll put book 3 up on the shelf with the rest of these greats. After this entry, I'm very curious to see how book 4 will not only continue the story, but the writing. However, this will have to be further on down the road. The last few episodes I did vlog entries for got strikes or claims. As such, book 4 will be impossible to review on YouTube for at least another year. Until next time, keep having fun.